What's going on, everybody? This is Asinosis coming at you another Goddess of Victory Nikke video, and today I want to talk about collabs. Now, we all watched the live stream. I recorded it and then thought about it. I was like, uploading a 2-hour reaction really does not add anything to the table because we already have all the highlights. So instead, I wanted to do something a little more focused. Now, this is a top 5 collab list I'd personally love to see for Nikke. Not leaks, not predictions, just what I think actually makes sense thematically. And just to set expectations real quick, this is not insider info or me pulling rank as someone who's been in the industry for 8 years. It's just perspective from experience. Asking the same question I always do. Does this actually work in practice? Alrighty, let's get to it. Coming in at number 5, and this one might surprise you, is the saga of Tanya the Evil. Now, we already know that guns and magic already exist within the world of Nikke. I mean, it was touched with RE0's collab, and then we also had it in the Christmas event that was more D&D styled, so it fits. Not to mention, it's got the military hierarchy, command, brutality, and it's morally uncomfortable, which Nikke handles that very, very well. And we've already seen that anime collabs are proven viable. Now, just to clarify, the show isn't pretending that it doesn't also have waifu appeal. Tanya is the lolly, and she has her adjutant, Visha, who is an absolute deliberate contrast. She's an adult officer, she has a traditional anime archetype, the bust, and hyper competent. And Tanya openly despises that, and it's basically part of the humor. And well, she's again, Nikke handles that quite well. Coming in at number 4, Mass Effect. Now, I beat the trilogy some years ago, and the squad-based military sci-fi fits Nikke pretty naturally, and there's plenty of strong female characters. You got Liara, you got Miranda, you got Tali, and the match is pretty obvious considering the sci-fi, the aliens, and whatnot. So it would have to be reinterpreted a little bit stylistically because it is a Western game that was done very well and earned a lot of money, at least with that original trilogy. Straight to port probably would not work, but because of the fact that it has the waifus and whatnot, it does still technically fit within the Nikke world. So this would be one that I would love to see that just works. Coming in at number 3, Final Fantasy. Now, this one is an obvious pick, and that is why I'm also not putting it at number 1, because that would just be lazy. This game franchise means so much to me because in the 80s and 90s, where being different wasn't really explained very well, this was like a refuge for me. And it was structured in a world where things just didn't make sense. And I'm given the entire franchise, not just one game. So I'm not sitting here trying to, crap on somebody's preferred Final Fantasy game. That's not the point. And this fits well into the Nikke world because it also has characters who keep fighting after they've been broken. How many times have Nikkes had their heads lopped off or and such? They're so quote unquote killed, but not really, so long as the head is intact. So Nikke has that same emotional space. And again, obvious pick, but not number 1 because that would just be absolutely lazy, in my opinion. Coming in at number 2, and this one may also surprise a few people, but I'd like to talk about Fire Emblem. More specifically, in this case, 3 houses, but I do believe that the entire franchise could actually fit. But the reason why, in this case, I want to focus on 3 houses specifically is because the characters aren't necessarily locked into one particular role, so it kind of maps cleanly into the Nikke kits. For example, if you want a character to be a mage in one playthrough and then a fighter with swords in the next playthrough, you can absolutely do that. And now, to me, mind you, I'm not deluded. My personal pick as one of the 3 characters, or however many characters they would want to introduce, because there's a lot, even just with 3 houses alone, would be Petra. Personal favorite, absolutely. And I think that a lot of people simply don't like her to a degree because of the fact that if you don't recruit her, she is an absolute nightmare. She's fast, evasive, punishment. She will destroy you, and very difficult to beat. And Petra just resonates with me because she's royalty, she's a princess, but she doesn't act like it. She acts like a down-to-earth girl next door, and that sits well with me. And again, I'm not deluded. We all know, and I hate to say it, but I have to admit it, just to be mature about it, we all know that Edelgard would be the headline of the collab for Fire Emblem. That's just going to be a thing because she's a house leader. Now, also, the other issue is the real obstacle is Nintendo because, well, Nintendo. Now, and again, I could go far deeper into this because it's a huge franchise with tons and tons of characters, and perhaps I will at another time. We'll see. Coming in at number 1, Dragon Quest. And in particular, I want to talk briefly about the original NES arc 1 through 4. Now, obviously, I'm aware that 1 through 3 are a trilogy and 4 is part of a separate trilogy, but back then, we didn't really know that in the West. At least I didn't. I was a kid. I was 6 years old when I first played the originals on the NES. So, but the reason why I'm giving this the respect is because, for one, Dragon Quest 4 is my favorite, absolute, in the entire thing. But it fits because we've already seen the fantasy with magic, and there's plenty of characters to choose from. For example, you have Maya, Mina from 4, and then if you want to go into the more modern characters, you got Jessica and Jade, and then there's that one that they introduced in the Dragon Quest 7 DS remake, or 3DS remake. I don't remember what her name is, but it does fit Nikke because they have the same kind of character archetypes, and they do fan service without losing identity. And our devs from Shift Up have already said that they don't want to dive too deeply and rely too much on the fan service. And I think that's one of the things that sets Nikke apart from other Gunnar games, is that its story is actually good. And in the Dragon Quest franchise, there's all kinds of fighting for adversity. Like, they have to overcome so much, and majority of the time, the characters aren't even fully grown adults yet. A lot of the time, like for example, Dragon Quest 3, I believe all the characters are roughly between the ages of 16 and 18. That's a lot of pressure to put on someone of those age groups. I couldn't even imagine. So again, Dragon Quest sits very well with me, and I would love to see it. Is it probably going to happen? Probably not. So again, these are just my personal takes, and I'm coming at this from experience, not authority. Because I did work in the industry for about 8 years, and they're not predictions, they're not demands. It's just what I would like to see and what I think would actually work. And I think a lot of people would even enjoy these. So I invite you guys to share with me what you think, what you would like to see, if you agree, if you disagree. And again, if people are interested, I am more than willing to go into a deeper Fire Emblem dive, considering with 3 houses alone, I have probably over 400 hours played. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I will see you next time. Remember that for every like, subscribe, and follow that you do to my channels, needy person's cheeks get clapped.